Yes, we just concluded that.
Okay. Well, your show is like every weekday,
Yeah, every weekday.
the midday.
It's not my show.
It's not your show.
On radio, you don't have a show.
Oh man, that's the first time I'm hearing. That's the first time. This is the first time I'm hearing that.
On
I've never
radio
heard
is
that before.
not yours until maybe you're bringing a brand or is your name. But if it's the company's, if it's like the radio station's radio show, no, don't like own it, but don't own it. You get because it
Okay,
can be
something
taken
like
away.
I get what you're trying to. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
True that. True that. So probably the what I'm okay. What the right words to use will be, um, the show you host. Yeah, those will be the right words, right? Okay, great. Okay, so hopefully I'm trying to get everybody back. Let me see if I can get Rachel and Shaya Banks to join in. Um, Lord knows it's rained down here today,
Oh,
so I think that is affecting the whole
the
internet
network.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It rained here and
it rained down
the
here today, so
affected.
yeah, it's really crazy. Just a few minutes ago, uh, let me see if I can hit Shea Banks.
Shei Banto.
So, honey, what's up?
I'm
I mean,
okay.
we're currently live now on every platform, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Ray just joined us. Finally, oh man, sorry about that, Rachel. We're back up.
Yes, we are. What happened to Shayna?
I think Shea disappeared as well, but Shea should be coming back up. I just hit him up. He should be joining us any minute from now. So honey just joined in as well.
Hey, girl.
Nigerian Network is hating on us, huh?
I'm
You
telling
said
you.
what? I didn't get that.
I said Nigerian Network is such a hater.
You. It's a hater. No, hate
Oh
me too much,
god.
no.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
It's
Okay.
not a teddy bear.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
This
honey,
is like my
honey.
safe haven. This is like where I find peace. Oh.
Is that a teddy bear?
Yeah, it is. My baby. How are you? Say hi to
Aw.
Showman. This is Rachel. You're my
Okay, so
sister.
let's
We're live on radio. Not
we're
we are
live.
live
We're
on
live
video.
everywhere.
Let's talk.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah,
Let's
let's
kick
go.
off. Let's kick off before the bad belly people come back and do me shaggy. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I'm back. Okay, so Ray, sorry for that. I know you were saying a whole lot, or you were about to say something before that incident happened. A quarter. I don't know if we can get back to it. Can we get back to it?
I believe I answered it after you left, but I don't know if it's gonna show
Are
up.
you serious?
I did, yeah.
Because
Yeah, and I continued
no, it's not
without
going to
me.
show up.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but I need to get it. I need to get it. The thing is not going to show
You
up
were asking
because
about sacrifices or something, right?
yeah, sacrifices. Was it like all worth it for the chase of the passion?
I would say, like I said, I would say that it was worth it because, like, whatever I do, to be honest, I like to put like my 100% into it. I like to put my all. I think it's because of my dad. He taught me that when it comes to work ethic, you don't play. So for me, when it comes to work, I
Yeah.
tend to like go hard or go home. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was really hard the traveling, the commute thing, especially because mean, I had to learn how to drive on the other side of the road in Nigeria, but like I think it was worth it in the end because I wanted to learn and I wanted experience, and that's what I got in the end. And it wasn't bad going to go, but when I started driving to Lekki now, that was mission. But it was okay. It was worth it in the end.
Okay.
Hey, you guys there?
Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi, Shay. Welcome.
Yeah.
Oh my neck.
Yeah, I'm here. All right, I think everything is coming out from my end because my feed keeps breaking. So I think it's gonna keep affecting this whole conversation. Yeah. But in any case, we can keep writing because if you can just hear the audio, that's better. I know my picture is currently frozen because I cannot see you guys, but I believe that you can hear me.
Yeah,
We can hear
can
you.
hear
We
me.
can see you.
Oh, you can see me. That's strange.
Yeah.
I can't see you. Okay, good then.
Ghost
All right, so
mode.
Honey's on with us right now. Earlier we're talking about Rachel talking about her sacrifices and all that. This week, I've had a series of conversations with other personalities, and they've said a lot about the industry, what happens in the industry, things that need to change in the industry, things that are currently going on that are like good development for the industry. And my man Shea Banks, before the last time I've been within the last few weeks that I saw you, the last time I saw you, a few weeks before I left Kiss FM, you talked about music, man. And that was, we were like in the open up this space. You were saying something about music. And a few months later, you're dropping your first single.
Yeah.
Now, this is like, what's his name now? Ludacris. This is like Ludacris. Ludacris actually was in radio, jumped into music, you know. So tell me about that pursuit. Like, why did you
I
decide
don't
to
know
do
if I'm
that?
gonna be like any ludicrous. I don't know if I'm gonna maybe leave the radio. But
Come
one thing
on,
I know
be
for sure is
positive,
that
bro.
the music business is probably almost as tough or even tougher than the radio industry. Because it's like a different ball game. There's the numbers game, there's the consistency game, there's the knowing people, cloud chasing, connection game. There's all of that stuff going on with music, and it's like a bigger ball game. And the reason why I'm doing music is because of my skill as a hype man to grow my brand as a hype man, and also show that there are different sides to hype, and to try to make other people who feel like you have to get that show or you have to get that platform or you need to get that connect before you do something big with it. So I decided to put out my first single in August last year, and I didn't feature any artists. And it's not like because I didn't know anybody. It's because I knew that I needed to send a message with that, and try to, help, like, make people see it, especially the young ones coming in the game, see that you can actually do something and you don't need to wait for anybody to co-sign you or anything before you start something. And which is pretty much the same thing like radio. I didn't wait for any co-signs from any top presenter to say, what, come join this radio station, come and do this. Before I started my radio ambitions, I pretty much just Googled everything I knew first of all before even getting to any platform. So sometimes when you learn by yourself, when you do a lot of research yourself, it just goes to show that you are keen and you are really passionate about something, So that's where we're at so far.
Speaking of research, let me just jump. If you can just help me out with this. Speaking of research, how much of research is important for an on-air personality to do before going on air?
To start.
Because,
do you mean to start?
No, not to start. Hello? Like you're about to go on air. You're about to get your show done.
Okay.
Is it because most of the opinion is if I go on air, I see something happening, something trendy, I can talk about it just freely. Yeah. And another opinion is before I go on air, I should be able to get materials ready. I should know how to um, speak on this subject matter. The thoughts I'm trying to pass, I should know how to pass my thoughts. I mean, what aspect is most important? Is it like the research is all round important, or hey, when I jump on, I do it. Whatever happens, happens. Because that is the reason I'm asking this question is I got a tweet a few days ago from a follower who was saying today, the one of the guests I had, Kinsley Dan Patrick, talked about the reading culture that is fading off, and he seems to this follower on Twitter seems to have this opinion that once I go on air, whatever I need to say will just come magically. So you have been in the industry for quite some time. How important is research before someone gets on? Is it even that
Um,
important? Whatever you have, just use it.
I think research is even more important than anything else. And research and information, I'd say research, information, and wit, they go hand in hand. To be one of the best in the game, you need to have these three. You need to be informed.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're talking about, and you need to have wit. Because there's sometimes where you need to have conversations that you have no idea about, and you just need to navigate your way through. For instance, if you're having a conversation with
Yeah.
someone who you did a lot of research on, maybe an entertainer, an artist, or a political guy, and he just throws something back at you, and you need to give him a response. You need to come up with either some sort of information that you heard somewhere else or some form of wit that you have that could maybe come as jokes or anything. You understand what I mean? So it's a balance of everything, but the most important part is research. It can't be everything. You can't research all your way through broadcasting, because if it was about research, every single person out there could be a broadcaster. You know, I've heard people say, I can talk. Talk is cheap. You know, like it's not just talk. It's not just to get on the
Yeah.
radio and say
It's
whatever.
not just a yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I've had people say that, but it's really not just about that. You need to be informed. You need to have wit. You need to know when to say the right thing. Sometimes you need to know even when to say controversial things. But you just need to have the balance of three.
Yeah, I totally do agree with you. The wit part is like really amazing. I've listened to, I mean, I've listened to you. We work together, so I understand that when you say wit. I mean, sometimes spontaneity counts a lot, but then you have the information. Knowing how to use that information is really interesting. Now, honey, you just I don't know how long have you been at Cool? I think you were with Auburn the last that was last year, right?
Mm-hmm. That was that was
Are
not
you
last
there?
year. That
That was
that
last
was
year, right?
2018. 2018.
Oh man.
Wow.
Okay.
I was in Auburn 2018.
2018.
I joined Cool
Okay,
FM
great.
2000. I joined Cool FM on the 31st of December 2018. Yeah.
If I was like, I know you've heard this question several times. Maybe your interns or people on you have come up to you to ask you stuff like this. How would you describe your first radio gig? What would be the things you say? If you were to describe your first radio gig in certain words, well, how would you describe it?
That's like 2014. It was it was not easy. You know, it was not easy at all. I would say it was not easy. It was full of a lot of things, mixed feelings. Most times I was down, but when I turn on the mic, it's magical. But it wasn't easy, honestly.
Okay. Now, what aspect? If I was okay, what aspect wasn't easy? Was it getting on the radio or the job entirely?
The job, not like the management. We have problems. No, the fact that when you're a younger person and you look at the radio people, you look at the honor personalities, and then you're like, I want to be like Sherman, I want to be like Shay, I want to be like Rachel, and then finally the mic is on, and then you find out that it's not as easy as you thought it was. You find out that these guys are talking about stuff like, like the way they're talking about this thing is not the way you're reading it, So that was it. Because I was just 17. I just got there, I really wanted to, because when I see younger people who want to like, hey, I want to just be on it all overnight. When I got there, I was that kind of teenager.
Mm,
I want to,
yeah.
because there was this lady I was looking up to be. I was listening to Tobe, listening to her, listen to her in the morning, listen to her in the afternoon. So when I got there, when the mic was told us, over for 3 months, like 4 months later, it was not the same. If they, in fact, they even told me that I should go
Mm,
home. Radio is not my thing. It's not for me. So what am I doing? Because
okay.
when I go there, I'll just be laughing. I'll just be talking anyhow. So it wasn't easy. The job wasn't easy from the start, even though I was very passionate about it, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Because I think I experienced kind of like the same thing. My my first major radio gig, after doing a lot of freelance reporting and etc. Something happened to me. The news editor, who normally was a newsreader, who reads the news, decided, you know what, let me try this guy out. So he called me one day. I was like, Aboma, you've always gone into the recording studio to do voiceovers and do station
Yeah.
liners. Why don't you just join me in the newsroom today? Read the news. And before then, I had never done that. So I went on the mic, feeling fly. I grabbed the sheets and I'm about to read. And then, no, it was a teleprompter. It wasn't paper. So it was on the teleprompter. And it was
Okay.
scrolling up. And I was reading the news. The news was supposed to be for 5 minutes. The news ended up with, I think it was 15 minutes at the end of the day. Because that was, see, I was there counting my letters or the words. And I didn't know how to pronounce acronyms. Some acronyms, you could pronounce like INEC right now. So instead of me saying INEC, I say
Exactly.
INEC. So it
Wow.
went on like that, and they were they were they were looking at me
Man.
and just laughing because I really wanted to leave the newsroom at that time. I wanted to join the presentation department. So I was doing
Wow.
everything possible, and they just like, okay, we're going to humiliate you. We're going to make you
Okay.
pay for wanting to leave us in
Presenter.
the newsroom and join the presentation department. So that was crazy for me. I'm from Yeah, and I was humiliated, right? And my general manager came out and he told me, he was just looked at me, said, "You don't know anything." I mean,
At all.
the way he said it,
Hmm.
I felt like I should just, jump over the fence and dive into the lagoon at the back of the station and just, fade off. But that was like a process that got me to learn. And something you said, there was like the Tobe experience. I experienced that as well. I had to listen to several honor personalities for a period of time. I remember listening to Kirk Anthony. He's late now. He was a smooth FM at that time. And then I had to listen to people like Spaceman at a point as well. He just
Oh.
joined Cool then. It was on the drive, and I liked the reason why I listened to him was because he the way he presented the game show was really smooth. So, but the thing is, a lot of people do like listen to other radio presenters to have an edge,
Yes.
um, to have a skill or to master the skill of presentation. Do you think that is an important aspect of the job? Is that an important aspect of the job? I don't know if you guys have the same perception that yes, this is an important aspect of it. You should have to listen to certain people you love, to try to master the skill that you're trying to use on air. What do you think about that, Ray?
I think so because listening to other people is part of research, as Jaya was talking about earlier. That you gotta research, you're gonna have the knowledge and you also gotta have the wit. And the truth is, sometimes you might not be a witty person. maybe you're not a witty person, but if you listen to other presenters, you listen to other people that you love, you kind of see how they kind of do wordplay, how they connect thoughts, how how they do their punchlines, how they make their jokes, and that in itself is your research. I know when I started out in radio,
Mm.
I would listen not just to radio specifically, but also TV. I would also watch a lot of TV presenters, listen to what they're saying, see how they're flowing, see how they're connecting, because like it's great experience, but you also have to kind of learn your own voice
Yeah.
because these days a lot of people, yes, they're listening to other people, they're doing their research, but then they sound exactly like another person. It's like they don't sound like themselves. They're rather sounding like a person who's already in the market, a person who's
True.
already a presenter. The whole point is that you have to bring something new, something different. You have to bring yourself
Okay.
and your personality. I'm not trying to bring, Tokia's personality out here. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to bring her presentation style, but I
Yeah.
would listen to her to kind of see how she does her thing and what makes her a successful person.
Mm. Okay. Well, Shay, do you share the same opinion though?
Yeah, I do, because to be honest, starting out radio, you have to listen to a lot of people, because the way I really learned radio was, listening to a whole lot of people. I I started off being a passive listener, just I wasn't really keen on getting on the radio at first, but like because of my love for music, I found myself, listening to people, and then before you knew it, I could tell you what these guys were gonna say when they were gonna say it, and then at some point, to be honest, yeah, because that's all we had then was the radio.
Yeah.
So at some point, I grew up listening to Olisa, I grew up listening to Dan Foster, I grew up listening to these guys, and all I just wanted to, at some point, I wanted to be like these guys. I wanted to sound like them. But at some point, I also realized that, it's about personalities. That's why we're on air personalities.
Yeah.
It's really about your
Mm,
personality. You can't be like anyone else. Nobody can be like you. People might try to, jack your style. People might try to, sound like you, or you might try to sound like anyone else. But the truth is, you can't really be like anyone else. You
yeah.
might get into a new environment. You might, I remember when
Yeah.
I got to Abuja, people told me at that time, you sound like Chris the Razor, you sound like
That's
A's.
true.
I remember when I came to Lagos, they said, Dotun is your big
That's
brother.
true.
You understand? So, like, yes, no matter,
Yeah.
so the conversations will come up, but the truth is, people with time, some people still feel like I sound like him, but the truth is, people over time have seen that I have my personality, I have my views, I have my opinions, I have the way I,
Yeah.
see things. Some people realize the flaws I have. Of course, it can't be the same issues that people deal with. That's why we're personalities. We have different approach or approaches to different things, so everybody's views are different. So at the end of the day, it's really about finding yourself, finding your sound, finding what works for you. That's what's most important.
Is there an easy way to do that? Finding that personality, that thing that makes you stand out. Is there like a set of rules that people have to go through,
The,
to
the, the only
find
the only
their self?
rule the only rule I believe is just living life, just being alive, because life is the lesson for me. And there's no way, if you don't make mistakes, you're not human, you're a robot. So that's the only way. You need to just live it out,
Yeah.
practice, learn, just keep evolving. You will definitely make mistakes, you do wrong things. If you haven't made a mistake on air, you are not a radio presenter. That's the truth, especially in Nigeria.
Tell them,
Yeah,
tell them.
exactly.
Oh
If you
yeah.
haven't made
Uh huh.
radio mistakes, you're
Say
not a
it
radio
again.
presenter. You might say the wrong things, you might get bashed, but it's sometimes how you pick yourself up and keep going. Sometimes you just have to keep going. Um, you might lack confidence sometimes. You might be insecure. You might feel some sort of way, but you just have to keep going, and that's how you stay
Yeah.
growing and learning, and that's evolving. That's the most important thing. That's how I see it.
Like I've for me, I've seen I mean, everyone here right now, Honey, Shaya, Rachel, you guys have, apart from being owner personalities, you have some other personality brand attached to yourself. Is that something that helps you with the job, or it's something that I don't know how to define that right now. The reason I'm saying this is, okay, for instance, I have seen Watch Honey over time develop a brand to a certain niche. And it's from afar, you can see all that. From afar, you can know, okay, this is Honey. This is the way she stands out. Does that help with your defining concept in terms of who you want to be perceived at as an on-air personality for from your listeners now? I'm talking about your listeners or the people who are your fans. Coming up with a personality brand, does it help with defining you to your listeners?
Uh, that for me, right?
Yes, yes, Honey, that's for you. Yeah.
Okay, so when I went for Radio Nigeria training school, we were taught about the 7 P's, and one of them is personality. You know, personality. So when you're building your brand, you have to build a brand that is okay for the kind of people you want to connect to yourself, kind of radio station you want to work with, the kind of, young people or old people you want to get as listeners. So that's what I look at. I don't know what other people look at. People differ. Maybe they're building a brand for more gigs to come, but specifically, I'm attracting the kind of people I want. So I'm putting out me, who I am, because I want to attract me, the little me's or the bigger me's, whoever they are. So the niche or brand I've been growing over time is who I am, because I feel like I'm like any generation B child, people born from 1995. So I relate to most of the things that they have they encounter, low self-esteem, all this rape, domestic violence, heartbreak, all that. That this is like a generation Z child that wants to be so fast with life. So over time, I've just worked with that, and that's it. That's the brand, and then you see that the brand you build for yourself connects you to the business people that come your way. It connects you to the kind of people that come your way. It connects you to the kind of events that come your way. So yes, it helps with the job as well. Because these days it's not just about having followers. Like I said, it's not just about having who is calling you. It's not just about having so many followers to me. I feel like it's about having people that relate to you, because you see people who have so sorry, babe. You see people who have, I hope it's not coronavirus, so
No,
It's not to I beg you.
because I'm about to get it. Okay.
from the screen.
Why are you closing your face? It keeps sneeze on you. Okay, so I feel like it's not just about having followers. I feel like if you have a million followers and none of them can relate to you, none of them can say this is showman, this is the kind of clothes you like to wear, this is the kind of house you like to live in, these are the kind of conversations he likes to have, then you're just going to have followers. So I feel like people should build a brand that even if 10 people relate to you, even if 10 people can vouch for you, even if you put up a brand and say, come get this, if all those 10 people can get that product, that's money for you already. You have achieved something. Because if we all focus on just building followers and not building a brand, then you're just going to have a bunch of followers that anyone can hack your account and take your followers, but no one knows you. So if you start another account, no one knows your personality, no one knows your brand. So that's it.
Okay. I get your point though, but a whole lot is happening right now. See what's happening. I'm getting the video feed late, and the audio is coming on time, so I don't get to know the actions that take place. Rachel just sneezed, and I got that like 2 minutes ago. I don't know, man. Okay,
Sorry.
okay. So Ray, you started a podcast recently called the Frey Podcast, and I have
Yeah.
been talking with other media personalities who are going into podcasting because that seems to be stuff after broadcasting. A whole lot of media personalities is jumping into it as well. From the last time I checked, there are about 700,000 podcasts in the world. That is a huge
Wow.
library of content.
Legit.
Yeah, a huge library of content, and people are, yeah, people are going in and getting the work done. Now, tell us a bit about that project, the Frey Podcast. I like to get a sense of it.
Okay,
Why you decided to kick it off, and what it's all about.
so actually, I got into podcasting because of my friend. She's one of the hosts on the Frey podcast. Shout out to Faye Faye. And
Hey.
so she's the reason I got into
Okay.
podcasting. We did a podcast together called the Previously On Podcast, where we talk about a whole bunch of TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's like a motorcycle outside. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, so when we talk about different TV shows that we watch, and then the Frey podcast, that one is Flo's baby. She's also one of the hosts. One day she was just like, guys, because we all worked in radio and we all left for various reasons. And she was like, guys, just because we're not doing radio anymore doesn't mean we have to kind of like forget about the whole presentation thing. Let's put something out there. Let's put something out there about new music because it's something that we do. Like when you're in broadcasting, it's oh man, whew, you feel it in your soul. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
Yeah.
something that's in you. It's in you, and then when you leave a job or a radio station, you still have that fire burning within you. And so that is why we continue with the podcast. And
Yeah.
it is so much fun. We basically talk about the latest songs, the latest projects that have come out. And we talk about our favorite picks and the ones that we don't like specifically. It's basically just a discussion about music, no holds barred. We're honest about our opinions. If a song is bad, we're going to say a song is bad. If the song is good, we're gonna let you know, hey, this is one of my favorite songs. Maybe you should check it out. And
Like
the
people
numbers have
now.
been surprisingly good. I'm not even joking. Like our numbers have been surprisingly good. I was like, wow, people listen
Yeah.
to us. I was like, I feel good about it. It's really fun, and I'm doing it with my friends, so we're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Nice one, girl.
I
Thank
mean, that's like an
you.
unrestricted space. That's like an unrestricted space. Radio,
No,
you get to,
no NDA.
be safe. Yes. You don't have that with your podcast. You can say what you want to say. You can do what you want to do. And
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, you made mention is a music podcast. You talk about music, you review music, songs, sorry. You review songs from talent, from artists and all that. Let's talk about that with radio. Bringing that to radio right now. Shea Banks is like one of the I don't know, should I say experienced music head that I know on radio. When it comes to music, he has that knowledge. Now, when you
Thank you very much. Thank
are
you very much.
we putting out, yeah. When it
You get
comes
in the
to that,
game
look,
for a
this
minute.
is really this is this is really like a social issue, right? Okay, now we've had songs out there that are totally crap. Why are on-air personalities not saying it?
Ah,
Nigerian on-air personalities on radio. Let me
Yeah,
just put it out this way.
why are you not saying it?
So you get a song and the artist is like, okay, this song has to fly, but then on radio you don't have that. You don't have the Nigerian radio industry scrutinize the songs this talent or this artist put out. So we're like, oh, Fave, this is good. Just we dish it out like that, and the listeners get to take it, whatever you say. Because I feel that we're not reviewing enough. Take a look at. Let me call. I don't want to do this. I don't want to call a radio host from another part of the world.
Oh, names! Name. Okay, I'm joking.
But you get what I'm saying, Shea Banks. You get what I'm saying, right? Why don't we do that? Why don't we put these guys on their toes? Because a whole lot of what's that type of music called now? Is called deaf music, being played on radio, and we put it out. Why don't we say it like it is?
I believe that we, to an extent, we say, but it's the minority. It's the minority opinion when it comes to the population, because a lot of people have the opinion that, you know what, there's so much sadness going on in the world right now. All I just want to do is vibe, live my life, just Jones, do whatever. A lot of people feel like that, not just in Nigeria, in America too. People like 6ix9ine sing "You're such a fucking hoe, I love it," and he's number one.
And people like the song.
Legendary Kanye West jumped on that song not because he didn't know or he doesn't know how to make good music, but we are at a stage in the world where people just want to vibe. There's so much going on in the world. That's the thing. There's a minority population when it comes to that, first of all. Secondly, I believe that for radio heads who have actually spoken up about it, maybe because they have security issues, or maybe because they feel like, you know what, it's not the time to address such information. They actually don't talk about it. I'll give you an example. Melody Hassan of City FM spoke about a Naira Marley record. And mind you, Naira Marley at the time was the infamous guy and the guy that a lot of radio presenters didn't like, including me at the time. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues who came to see me, and he was saying, I never used to like Naira Marley. Now I'm playing Naira Marley on the radio every day. This girl tweeted that this Naira Marley song called Puta addresses, I can't remember how she put it, but she talked about it being shaming women, calling them bitches. Because puta is a Spanish word for bitches, and people should not be singing the song. That song should actually be banned. Malians came for her. Malians came for this girl saying, what is your own, blah, 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 blah. And she left it. My point is, sometimes people might not be able to take the backlash or the feedback. And sometimes people also feel like, you know what, right now is not the time for people to hear that this is bad music or anything. So the reviews sometimes vary. It's an issue when it comes to reviews and everything. It's very, very relative. And good music is also relative, depending on the time you want to hear it. For me, another issue, if I'm going to bring this up again, is an issue of payola, because the radio is not paying us. Some people, we have to make money. We have to get the money in the bag. And these guys who are not making fantastic music are the ones with the money. And we have to play it. You understand? So that is something that also comes into play. The guys that actually hear, and these guys are the ones with the money. You understand? So it's a case of that, but it's not just restricted to that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, I think it's really about that.
Speaking of payola, Banks. I mean, that conversation comes up once in like a long time. Someone is just going to go on Twitter one day and talk about it, like Nigerians, radio presenters and Nigerians like money. They want to collect money from artists, etc., right? And do you think, though, that there's something fundamentally wrong with that? I don't know. I mean, you guys could jump in on this, because here's the thought of it.
It's illegal.
I was listening to
Go on.
Oh yeah. Okay, now why is it illegal? Because this is what I think, right? A record label wants to promote a song. They want to put the song out there. So they go ahead and get on their personalities, whatever radio station, to go ahead and sell that song. And you are selling the song with your brand to the people to get them to stream and do whatever they got to do. So why don't you get paid for that service? Because that is something that is not, I mean, why don't you get paid? That's a service you're giving. That's a service you're delivering. So why don't you get paid for it? Why is there an issue
I
with,
know of
are we even calling it payola?
that's another thing. We probably might not call it payola, but the word payola in itself means the practice of bribing someone in return for an unofficial promotion of a product or a service in the media per se. So it happens in the media mostly. Payola is not something that is done in all other sectors. It's really just in the media. That's one. We might not call it payola. I know of a record label, a very popular record label, a Pan-African record label. Matter of fact, a global record label that does payola, and they stopped doing payola to legalize payola in the sense that they require invoices and receipts. For instance, now Big Daddy Juice, Big B.J.B The Showman, if DJ,
Yeah.
if you're a DJ and you want to play an artist song, or you're a radio jockey, you want to play an artist song, if you have B.J.B The Showman Limited and you have an invoice, it would require an invoice for you to show the amount of service you will provide, the amount of the units you will provide for the artist to get airplay and to get promo via your brand, your app, your radio, maybe DJ sets and everything. So they will require an invoice, and you can print an invoice and give to these people so that there's documentation that you were actually paid for. So that is legal in its sense. But a service in terms of payola is when you just collect money without any form of documentation, and it's just a bribe for you to do something in the media, So I feel like the word may not be payola, it may be servicing. So providing services and everything. So yeah.
Because I don't know if Honey, do you have something to say about that?
Where did you go, girl?
She disappeared.
Okay,
I don't think I have her on the field, but I
feel. Can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, we can hear you now. You're back on. Yeah.
Shay has said his. Oh my God. Why is this conversation always brought up when Oasis comes together? Like, I am tired of hearing. Oh my God. Okay, see. What I'm going to say might not be okay for you guys. I don't know. Can you hear me? But
we can hear you. I can hear you.
Payola, right? That's what it's called. I can't remember the last time I said that word. Like, it's so hard to pronounce. Ugh. The last time I talked about this with someone, we were told that it's wrong. It's wrong on radio. It's wrong for you to collect money to play someone's jam. So ever since I found out, that it's wrong, you're not supposed to do it, I try not to just open my email. I try not to check out the emails that are coming, because emails will always come. They'll always say, honey, please help me play the song. So I'm really scared. I don't want someone to come out tomorrow and just, say, honey, collect your 1 million naira. Because, it's what people are just saying. Oh, I was at one burial in Enugu. Some guy who obviously collected payola. They came to him at the burial, and they forced him that he took about 2 million naira to promote an artist song, and he didn't, play the song one bit. and the guy lost his job as well because it was written down that you're not supposed to take money for that. So I'm just going to say that on Cool FM, we restrict that. I don't know. We don't. My log was monitored today. The music guy came to meet me and told me that I didn't play one song that was on the log. I told him the song. I didn't like the words on the song, and that's why I didn't play. So some stations monitor these things, and so it's even so hard for you to even try to collect money. So what you do is just ignore the artist. I really don't know what to say again about this. Honestly speaking, I don't know. And so many people, like someone like Omale. I was in Omale started off in Port Harcourt. Omale got me a perfume last year. I wouldn't call that pale. I would say that he was just appreciative of his girl. Because Omale released Hello Brother in Port Harcourt. I just got to Port Harcourt, and I was one of the OAPs he met, and he was like, cool stuff, honey. And I liked the song, and I played the song, and I was playing the song back to back every day. I would just play the song, cue it on my log. So there are artists that, we just play their songs, and then some artists will begin to feel that you're collecting money for it. There's something you're collecting, and then they send you their songs, and when you don't play it as well, because maybe you don't like it or it's not your vibe, they feel you refuse to play because you didn't collect money from them. So these things just happen. They just happen. Sometimes you play an artist song and he just says, I like you, Showman. Showman, what's up with you now? Are you going to buy a new clothes today? And you just give you stuff, these things happen. I don't know why you're laughing, but I don't know what else to say.
Okay, so but though I get you, I get you, honey, I get you real clear. But here's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say promotions. When you playing an artist song, yes, that is different. I'm talking about promotions. It's like a brand coming to meet you to say, look, do a hype for us. You're going to get your presenter's fee in it.
Yeah, you're going to get that.
You're going to get a presenter's fees. Definitely, you're going to get a presenter's fee for hyping. That is a brand. You're telling people go and pick this brand up. So I'm talking about promotions now, not just airplay, because we need to come. This is what I feel. This conversation will keep coming up till radio stations get to understand that they need to have a structure where they say musical promotions is not illegal. It is legal. You got to pay something for promotions. But then your song is dope. We're going to play it. But we're not going to come on air. We're not going to come on air to say, play active Windows by go to settings to activate Windows. I'm not going to say that on radio.
And then chill. Sometimes they'll say the artist, you just give back to the artist, push the artist. One day when the artist is finally big, they could come perform at your event, for free. It's like giving back. And then when the radio station has made the artist very, very popular, the artist very, very big boy, you will not come and play again for free. So that's he will not go pick your course again.
Not even.
He will not even reply your message again. I'm telling you, he will not say talk to my manager. So then you see OAP people will say, I cannot be playing the song. I must collect money because this artist forgets me and I'll be wearing one trouser, one shirt because OAP is going to have money.
I mean, honestly, I understand what Showman is saying. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. Like having promotional packages, right? Where it's clear from the get-go, this is what's going on. We are doing promo for the artist. You know what I mean? I think that makes sense. To be honest, that makes sense to me. If it's specifically you say it from the beginning, this is promo because don't artists promote themselves on YouTube? Don't they pay YouTube to promote their videos? I'm just saying.
They pay YouTube. Yeah.
They pay YouTube. They pay bloggers.
So why is it an issue?
They pay influencers.
Exactly. They pay all these other people to
They
promote
pay people who put it up on iTunes playlist. Apple playlists. I mean, so why is it a problem when it comes to the radio? I'm just
NBC
trying to figure that
banned it.
out. I've had this conversation
NBC
with a lot
banned
of
it.
NBC.
So I
Shay, you were
would
saying
like to
something.
also add. I would also like to say this is just my opinion, honey. When Omale gave you that perfume, it's relatively saying Omale got you like a Range Rover, and you won't show any keen interest with his music. You know that, right? He didn't exchange cash, but he exchanged a gift.
But he gave it
right?
to me when he gave it to me after we played, after like when he dropped his youth song. That was when he got to Lagos, when he moved.
Okay.
So he just gave it to me after he didn't give it to me before his music promo. So I would even say that's an appreciation. You could even call it payola, because if you look at it somehow, he's gifting, he's appreciating. So when they give you something, because I hear they give some OAPs in Lagos money after, maybe someone like David could come into an OAP, a radio station and say, take this bag, take this thing. Is that payola too?
Yeah, that is
take
actually
this car.
payola.
You made me big, take this car.
Yeah, that is appreciation, and it's very valid. But my point is, payola could come in cash or in kind. It could be that you could receive money for payola, you could receive gifts, but like you said, yours is appreciation. But people receive gifts and believe that they don't do payola. When you receive maybe shoes or clothes prior to an artist demanding something from you, or maybe not even demanding anything, but
they
with the
will always
expectation.
come to demand.
Exactly. I'll tell you a quick story. This one happened in the United States. Rihanna was going to drop her anti-album at the time. Rihanna, prior to that album, she hadn't dropped music for a while. I think me and Richard have talked about, we've had this conversation before. I don't know if she remembers. But she hadn't dropped music for a while. And then she was going to drop an album. She took radio presenters from Power 105.1. She took some, I think they were in a particular city. I'm not sure if it's New York. She took them to Atlanta. Yeah.
And
then
they had fun.
She took them shopping. She told them, buy whatever clothes you want. Just buy whatever. Just take all the clothes you want in this store. I'll pay. And then wear the best one that you love of all of them. We're going to have dinner tonight. They had dinner. They left that table with checks, right? And then tell me, Rihanna didn't demand for anything. It was
she didn't say anything,
She didn't say anything. She didn't. But tell me, if you go back to your radio station, you won't play Rihanna's
You
album.
want to play her song.
Your whole album, back to back. You will play it back to back.
You're listening to the
You
songs
will tweet
on the
about what she's eating, even if it's just one day.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's really about, sometimes the thing is, there are relationships that count. And let me be real with you. There are very rarely no radio stations around the world that don't do payola. It's like part of the culture. And payola is a thing that maybe has been abused severally over the years. Some people, just do whatever with payola. They don't tell the artist the truth when the music is not good. Some people, it's relative, So payola is something that is part of the culture. It's just like when a rapper doesn't say fuck shit, like a mainstream rapper, a conscious rapper. It's very rare for you to find conscious rappers. But there are rappers where they say nigga, fuck shit on their record, and it's just part of the culture. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how payola is. And I feel like, yes, payola is a thing, but we can also not deny that good music needs to stay. Regardless of payola, if the artist doesn't have money for promotional packages or whatever, or services, doesn't mean that you can't play their music when it's good. I will not deny an artist an opportunity, especially when I see his potential, his seriousness, his consistency. I will not deny the artist the opportunity to play his music.
But should payola be demanded?
To be honest, if the artist does not have money, I will play the music. If the artist does not, I feel like every radio presenter should play a song if the artist does not want a promotional package, as long as they can, and if it meets the requirements,
Yeah.
So,
As
so
long as they
that's
can, if they meet the, I agree with you, Shia Banks. I totally do agree with you. If an artist does not have promotional packages, yeah, you can play the song. But if you expect the radio personality to use the brand that they built from the scratch up to promote your song, to talk about your song, to hype your song, I mean, it should come with payment. It's a service. That's a service that the OEP is delivering. It should be
But there was
some kind of like structure.
IK came out to say that that's not good to collect money from
It's not collecting
artists.
money. Wait, hold up. Nobody's
And people
collecting money
didn't back
from
him
me.
up. A lot of
you.
people didn't back him up as well. So maybe people
I don't
feel
know.
it's wrong.
big shout out to IK. IK is someone that has exceptionally done this, like in the industry, and
Totally.
I respect IK so much, but people's views are different. And IK, like I said, he's one of the conscious OAPs who believe that payola, is not a thing. But you cannot tell IK to come and host an event for free. I have hosted events for free. You cannot tell IK to come and take 50% off that you want to help him build his brand as an event host. No. You collect over 1 million to be at your show. So it's very relative when IK can speak about this because his position is different from everyone else. And sometimes we need to empathize. The radio stations in Nigeria, I can mention only 5 and 3 of my genre that pay consistent salaries. And not because they don't want to pay, but because there's a fundamental issue that has to do with the government, the corruptible leaders we have, the unpatriotic Nigerians that are in this country. There's so many problems that are big. So it's a whole lot. If we're going to talk about all the problems of Nigeria, do you know how many agencies are owning radio stations in Lagos?
Radio stations. That is another conversation.
Not
Well, here's
just in
something.
Lagos,
Let me read this thing for you guys. Someone just tweeted this and says, when it comes to payola, the presenter is not to be blamed. The reason is because some of the artists come fronting you with, how much do you charge? I want you to play my song. When the presenter bills them, they start crying, it's expensive. Then that's why you see all those tweets coming up. But I totally do understand. Radio stations, have a lot to do. Money is not coming in. There's no money. People are not spending money anymore. The ad agencies are holding them to ransom. I mean, an OAP does not receive salary for 1 whole year. What are they supposed to do? Right? I mean, think about it. I don't know. I'm not justifying robbing people. No, Rachel, go ahead. You were saying something.
Some radio stations, like you were talking about how if you hype a product for a company, you're expected to get your presenter fee. Some radio stations specifically do not allow presenters to get a presenter fee. You know what I mean? And we're just out here trying to survive, honestly. We're just trying to survive. Share makes a very good point that nobody's telling IK out, slash your fee in half so you can get experience. I know it's funny.
No, seriously.
That was funny.
No, he's correct. He's correct.
He's correct.
It's a valid point. It's a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, let's break it down a bit. Let's talk about the longevity of radio as it is right now. I've been asking this question to everyone since we started the series from Monday. I've been looking at the concept of radio, the industry, the broadcast industry, with the challenges it has in Nigeria. Do you think it will survive? The radio industry is broke. The radio industry, the NBC is putting us in a situation where we cannot use technology to advance. I mean, we cannot go digitally on radio till the next 450 years. And do you think the radio industry is going to survive, looking at the fact that people are finding other alternative means of entertainment, information? You have social media, you have podcasts, and etc. What do you guys think about that?
You have Facebook Live.
Yes, you have this too.
I think radio will survive. Yeah.
Hmm?
I
Go
said
ahead.
I
Go
think
ahead.
it'll survive. To be honest, I honestly think radio will
Yeah.
still survive because I mean I don't know what the statistics are, but I know that
Yeah.
every single month or maybe year, new radio stations are popping up all over Nigeria, even in Lagos. In fact, like the number of radio stations that are popping up is crazy. And even though you have your podcast, you have your Facebook Live, you have all of those things, we have to remember that we here right now, we don't represent the majority of the population in Nigeria. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody has the
Yeah.
money to spend on data to listen to a podcast online. Not
True.
everybody has money to be watching things live. And the cheapest thing to do is listen to the radio for entertainment.
Yeah.
We don't represent the majority of the population. That's the truth. So I think radio is gonna survive in Nigeria because the market for it is always going to be there. The truth is there will always be people who can listen to radio but can't afford to watch TV or spend data on the internet to listen to podcasts or what have you.
Okay. I get that.
Right. Yeah, I do agree. And to add to that, I would say, in my own words, is that I believe that regardless of the population and the situation or the development of the country or whatever environment we find ourselves, radio would always still thrive. Let me explain what I mean. For instance, in the United States, a developed nation, you have radio stations who are digital. There's visualized radio out there in the United States.
Yeah.
There's Power
Yeah.
105.1, there's Hot 97, and these stations are still relevant today because of digitalization. Now, the truth is that there might be a reduction in the number of radio stations if Nigeria was developed, because some people may not be able to keep or compete with the relevant radio stations that may thrive. But
Yeah.
one thing I know is that there will be radio stations because radio is an important part of human life. There's no way right now, even in Nigeria, there are rural, like Rachel said, there are some people that don't have access to television. There's some people that don't have access to data. So
Data,
with,
yeah.
with the fact that we have not evolved up until that level, people only can listen to the radio. And when Nigeria, hopefully, when maybe some miraculous change happens and we become a developed nation, we will get to that point where people can afford data, where the internet services will be dope as F. Like we won't have network breaks, and people will be
Yeah.
able to
Like I've been having.
use their Wi-Fi services and like when you live in rented apartments, the service charge will come with like Wi-Fi and all of that stuff, like it happens in the UK and
Yes.
all that stuff. There will
Hello,
be
Canada.
like that. Let's hope that day comes, and then we will say that there are radio stations that we can watch and we can see the radio presenters doing what they do. There will be more
Yeah.
people who are employed to produce as content. There will be more people employed as content producers.
Yeah.
More people employed as script writers. Just more people employed with the radio, especially when it's developed, when there's this systematic format that would make people receive their pay at the end of the month. So I feel like it's going if we're eventually going to get there, it's all dependent on how Nigeria grows as a nation, where the National Board Commission, what is NBC generally is is very incorruptible about their decisions. They're not going to collect money from somebody just to start a radio station. They'll have to go through the right process, to make sure that station is ready. They won't charge someone. The agents they'll be auditing and they'll be sure that there's a proper system that ensures that people get paid at the radio stations. There's a format for the radio station that applies, and just to make sure that things are in check. When we get to that point, eventually, hopefully, the radio might become a better space out here. But the radio will always thrive.
I think the NBC is just a bunch of old people who sit around and just knock balls. That's what I feel they are. Because I mean, you cannot. There's a standard rule that if a radio station gets up, they should have about like 3 years salaries down for their staff, but that is never followed, and people get employed and they don't get paid. But so honey, do you still agree? Do you agree with what they have said concerning the longevity of radio, and if it's still going to be relevant considering the technology and the way the world is going globalized now, and if the OEP still has a lifespan?
Are you asking me? I had a network problem.
Okay, yeah. And I was
Yes,
telling
I
you
agree with it. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
You wanted to say something?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I agree with Rachel and Shay. I agree that radio will always be there. Noting the fact that Nigeria is not yet a developed nation. You know, there's so many things that are still not working. And there are people who do not have data. There are people who do not have TV. So they will always need to go to the radio. You know, they'll have radio somewhere. I have friends here around my location that still have the normal radio that people carry around, the old one. So there are people like that that will still find comfort in listening to someone tell them that things are going to be fine, even when they have been hearing that before their moms were born. So yeah, that will always. But the next thing, who's calling me? The thing I feel is that it's going to evolve. Radio is going to evolve in Nigeria than it is. You know, it's going to have to feature live videos. It's going to have to feature the internet more. It's going to have to feature podcasts. OAPs would have to have podcasts because they now know that it's not just about working in a radio station. Their passion has been brushed up. They have known that they have grown up to the extent that they know that it's not just about passion anymore. It's about trying to make ends meet with your voice, with your style. So you're evolving. It's not just going to be like we were taught then that, oh, when you have passion and you know how to research and you just know how to talk, life is okay. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's not just about talking.
Don't make money.
My God. You know, then they were telling us about knowing how to pronounce words. But you know now that we have people that cannot pronounce words, but they are making more money than us that can pronounce words. Do you understand?
Oh my goodness! Memories just got into my oh Lord, a lot of things just popped into my head right now.
No. There are people that don't go on air. They go on air once. They even come out to celebrate 15 years of being on air. But you have been on air for 20 years of your life. And not
No, you see, because I was gonna ask you guys though, like with the entire structure, what needs to be done. Yesterday I spoke to Bimbo, amazing, and then Patrick, and Bimbo made mention of something that the business of radio. I think every on-air personality needs to have an understanding of the radio business, how to make a living from it. Like, we should stop telling the young ones coming up into the whole business that if you have the passion, it will speak for you. It will not speak for you. You'll be broke. You will be so broke.
And see, let's also stop lying to them that fine girl that is working on radio, that fine girl that's working on radio is because she's sleeping around. That's why she has money. Let's tell them that people are doing influencing jobs with their names on radio. People are doing podcasts. People are doing more. They are doing more than just going on air. Let's tell them that it's not just about going on air. You're going on air to inform, educate, and entertain. These are the three things. You're also going
and make money while doing it.
Do you understand? You're going on air to have fun, to make sure someone feels better. Yeah, so after making sure someone feels better, and you turn off that mic, and you start crying, and you start looking for transport money to go back home. Hey, that's not it.
God.
So,
honey, leave me alone, man. I'm done.
So let me tell you, my mother is an honest personality.
Yeah,
Flora
I know.
Oduko. I watched my mom grow. See, federal government work will pay you. Do you understand? Because the Cool FM, they have not only a dime ever since I started working for them. They have been paying me consistently. Big ups to them. But I know that I have friends in radio stations that have not been paid for 7 months, 8 months. And they don't post pictures on social media. They don't influence for brands. They don't do anything. They see me, and sometimes they'll say you too do. Why you do, honey?
How do they get to post pictures when they can't take a photo shoot, man? There's no money in the account. How do they get to do that?
How about you pretend to be abnormal and go to meet a designer and say, make I fake this thing for once, make I do photo shoot, make I brand myself, make I look like this. Because when you look at the people that are doing it and they are eating food, they are doing something. I'm telling you the truth. They are doing something that you're not doing. They are pretending that that's the truth. We don't want to
so
tell
they can
ourselves
survive.
the truth.
They can survive in an industry.
They're surviving. I'm angry.
Share Bags, you want to say something, though? Share Bags, you want to say something? I see that you want to say something.
I think. Okay, let me say this way. Based off my experiences, especially with some of my colleagues, it comes off as, when I say things like this, it comes off as me being cocky. But I've tried to help people over the years, and tried to also advise a lot of people that, yo, this thing, we've been doing this thing for a while. This thing is it's not an end goal. You people should do something outside. If you cannot do this thing, collect this thing. I try as much as possible to be very blunt when it comes to conversations like this, because if I don't genuinely care about someone, I won't tell them the truth. I will keep to myself. I would, when it comes to me for opinions, I'm not happy when my colleague is saying, I don't have money to go home. Please, can you help me with this? It's really upsetting, because I believe that there's always space in the sky for everybody to shine, and there's always space for everybody.
They won't comment on your picture. They will not repost it, but they'll come and be asking for transfer money. When you know that you have been running around going to meet brands.
Honey, you have a lot to say.
Picture, even when you're not supposed to post picture, you know that you have been branding. And they'll come and be asking for money. And then they'll go and gossip for your matter. They'll go and say, hey, that boy you should do. That boy is in a post.
Branding is not easy. Branding is not easy. But let me...
It's hard work. I don't suffer.
Yeah.
And why I tell some of my colleagues to brand. Let me explain why. Let me explain if branding is important and why I tell some of my colleagues to brand. First of all, we are, depending on your market, Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Kano, these are the economic centers, should I say, or capitals of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And that is where you have commercialized radio a lot more in this country. If I was on the radio in Ibadan or Abeokuta, I probably wouldn't care about how my brand looks, because my community and my audience, I remember even when I was in Abuja radio, Abuja is not as intense as Lagos. I remember when I was leaving radio there, one of my listeners was crying that why was I leaving? Some of them still call me to this day, because it's really not as commercialized as Lagos radio. But the importance of branding is that branding will take you a step ahead when people want to choose between who to pay for a service for. They'll choose you, because first of all, when you're branded, you're more of a reputable person, and people will take your word as your bond. Because when you speak as a person of importance, even though you're speaking from the same media. It's really, really just it's an important part of radio in commercialized areas like Lagos, and you just need to brand if you want to make money.
That's the only way OAPs will survive.
The only way. You need to just be a
brand. Branding is not easy. Branding is hard, y'all. Branding is hard. Okay.
It's like music. This music thing, I'm not going to lie to you. Even me, where I do, I feel retire. Like I feel do early retirement.
Oh my God.
Easy.
Don't.
I have to spend money. I spent a lot of money to promote Ifunaya. Like I
That's your new single, right?
That's my new single, by the way, the CK.
Yeah.
And I shot a video. My first record, I made a video for it. I paid thousands of naira for that video. My visualizer, I paid thousands of naira for it. Like it's not easy. Branding is not easy, but trust me, it's a sacrifice that if you make, you would reap the benefits in the future. No matter how inconsistent you are, you would reap the benefits in the future. It may not be as consistent as you expect, but because you are branded, someone like DJ KY's my colleague, is someone that I really, really admire his brand. Like KY's is the most consistent person I know. He's so consistent with what he does. And let me tell you, one thing I even learned is that when all of this pandemic happened, and we saw that it would affect DJs, DJ KY's went hard on social media. Every Friday night, DJ KY's was doing. He's currently still doing lives. And my point is, I have to deal with this is not because he's just DJ KY, it's because he's consistent with branding.
Yeah.
The consistency about branding is key. You know, every year since I started radio, like over a decade, every year in the last years, I've done a photo shoot. I would look the same way every year and not evolve. Branding is a thing that is consistent and you have to do every time. So it's not easy to brand, but if you want to make money from something, you have to invest in it. You know, you yourself, you're a brand and you have to invest in it. So it's really not easy, but it's a thing that just has to be done.
It's worth it, bro. It's worth it.
I mean, this is a knowledge. This is a knowledge the young ones coming into the industry need to have. Even those in the industry need to understand. And I didn't make a mistake when I put you, Honey, and Rachel on this Zoom meeting, because that is like a perfect match. Ray, you disappeared for a minute. I'm just seeing your collar. What's that? Is that like what? What's that?
My collar?
Yeah, I'm just noticing it. I like it though.
Oh, thank you.
Reminds me of pirate movies and shit. So it was like
Rachel, say something.
No, Rachel, I said the whole lot.
I was listening because Honey and Shay, these two are like the branding gurus, shall I say, honestly. Because is it every month that you guys do a photo shoot? Is it every week?
I think it should be every week now, Shay. What do you think? Like every week?
Shay's frozen. Okay, he just joined.
Shay's frozen.
She's just there.
Just go back in.
Shay.
What's happening? Frozen.
But anyway, big shout out to you guys for joining me on this a series of radio conversations. Geez, this is 5:50. My goodness. It was supposed to be from like 4. We started like 4:30 thereabout, and
oh my God, really? Wow. That's a long time. And then
Okay.
I want to learn how to brand juice. Honey and Shaya should give us the steps for branding. I want to learn.
I think I'm gonna DM. I'm gonna call Shay after. I'm gonna call Shay after this and tell him, "Hey, bro, have fun now. Link me up."
You know how this thing works, Rachel. Rachel know how this thing works. But why you said you don't pay for this thing, so it's
Shay, we can't see you all, and we want to see you.
I can see him.
I can see him.
He's frozen.
Can't see me.
He's frozen.
I can see him.
Okay,
I'm looking. I'm on. Okay, no, don't go off. I'm on a laptop, so that's why my screen is wide.
Okay, I can see you now, Shay. Oh yeah,
All
right, I can see you now.
All right, great. Thanks, guys, for jumping on. But before we go, I just want you to do a quick seconds, man. Let's just say some of the things that you feel that radio should embrace at this time from now, like things radio should embrace. I'm talking about the personalities, on-air personalities, and the structure itself. Certain things that we should embrace as a culture. Just a quick one from you guys. We start from Shadow.
Radio needs to embrace people as humans and not God. Radio needs to embrace people who have potential and may not have a capacity. When I mean capacity, I mean network. Maybe you don't know anybody, because I remember my journey was really tough because I didn't know anybody. I didn't. It was, especially as a guy, it's tough for guys to get on the radio, especially in this part of the world. But radio needs to embrace people and see that they will grow as time goes on. Radio needs to give the right information. Radio needs to help lives. It needs to impact lives, positively impact lives. It needs to keep informing, entertaining, and educating people. And definitely, radio needs to just be what it is, be a vibe. Yeah, so.
Cool. Thanks, Sharon.
Reiki baby, talk to us.
Well, honestly, I think that the radios need to understand that their personalities are a very big part of their own branding as well. And because of that, they need to treat them as such. They need to treat them like human beings, and they need to treat them like people who are important and not people who are just disposable. Because I feel like the trend these days is just like personalities are disposable because so many people out there want to be on air personalities. So they feel like we're just disposable. And the truth is we're not. We're human beings and we put work into our craft. And another thing is like they should invest in our personalities more. I don't know how it is in other radio stations anyway, but they need to invest in them in terms of training. Like send your personalities abroad. Get them proper training so they can get better. It'll improve your brand. It'll improve your personalities as well. And I mean, I know some radio stations in the UK, their personalities are also trained as DJs or perhaps as artists. Why doesn't that happen in Nigeria? You need to invest in your people. That's how you get people to stay and help them to grow. So I think that's what's important.
I like
in terms
that.
of
I mean,
radio.
that's...
They need to recognize their personalities and give them the props that they deserve.
Makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No cap, man. No cap. So,
No
honey.
cap.
Well, you guys have said it all. Embrace your personality.
Is Honey frozen?
You know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you see me?
Yeah. I can see
Okay,
you.
so you guys have said it all.
Yeah.
The personalities are human beings. They deserve to be taken care of. They deserve to be treated nicely. You know, sometimes you're doing a particular show, just like we're having a conversation, Big Daddy. I told you that when you're working on radio, the show is not your show. It's the radio station show to me, because I feel like when you're doing a morning show and you're doing an afternoon show and you're doing a night show, and you begin to feel like this show is my all and all. Oh, it's my baby. Because I had that feeling in 2016. I thought it was my baby until someone came and took the show and they told me it's not your baby. They're going to go and do another show. So it's not your baby. Do you understand? Personalities on radio, this is for you. Work, be morning, be for morning. Work so hard that you can do morning. Work so hard that you can do afternoon. Work so hard you can do night. Be able to do all of them. Don't own a particular spot, because when a particular spot is taken away from you, you're going to feel broken. Because I think I'm going to go to the night show very soon, and I'm afternoon. So imagine if I own it. I'm gonna be depressed. I'm gonna be feeling bad. But I'm not feeling bad, you know, because I've been preparing myself. So
okay.
And then I need radio stations all over the world to know that radio is an investment. Stop employing people when you know that you don't have salaries to pay, and then tell them that you are thinking that you make adverts within 2 years. Like, especially stations in the East, the Igbo men that want to have radio station. I don't know who used to advise this to me, but see, this time, radio, when you're buying a license fee for 15 million naira, see, that's what people used to say. please put like 100,000 million naira somewhere that you can be paying people. Because if you're waiting for adverts to just start coming just like that,
immediately,
how is it
that's
going
very
to
wrong.
happen, my brother?
It's impossible.
When these agencies are also paying money to have ratings. So when will you even get 3 million naira to get your ratings higher? And then you just like growing an Instagram page. How can you start an Instagram page this year and then brands want to now do adverts with you this year? So think about these things too. Invest properly before you employ people. Don't lie to them that you're going to pay them 150,000 naira, and then you now cut it to 50,000 one day, and they now say 10,000 naira one day, and they now let them go.
And sorry to add one thing to what's been said. It crossed my mind in all of this. I think one thing that essentially needs to change over the years, like I mentioned that radio presenters are not gods. The godfatherism, toxicity, and politics with the radio business and the industry needs to stop. It needs.
Someone had to say. Someone had to say.
I genuinely, I haven't cried in a long time because I'm not really. I say a lot of stuff and I'm not really emotional about stuff I say. But it was toxic for me at some point when every person I was working with in an organization was against me because of some truth I said. Or something.
Say it again. Say the station, man.
I'm not gonna call out any station, but I've said things.
I will call it out for you, right? Should I call it out for you?
People that were superior to me at the time were not happy with things I said that were true. I remember, going out of my way, providing internet. I got the station, the Wi-Fi they were using at that time. I got some batteries. I got some stuff. I know the sweat and the things I did because of the people I knew to get that, but it felt like I was doing too much. And the toxicity, the godfatherism of you being my boy, being you have to answer to me, or you are not friendly, or you're not nice. It's like it comes right after being professional, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's
not just for you, even the ladies to go through it. Maybe I don't know how some ladies enter, and then maybe you get bigger and you refuse to be doing what you are doing before with the person. Right? It's just over. Your owner just call for that time. When you raise people to that level that they're great, how about you let them continue being great? Why try to suppress them?
Thanks a lot, guys. A whole lot. I appreciate you, Share Banks. Ray. Love the glasses though.
Honestly, this actually like the first time I'm seeing Rachel on glasses. Well, maybe not the
first. She was good, babe.
Can't be the first time you see me with glasses, Shay. Come on, like when I can't be bothered to wear my lenses, I wear my glasses.
A big shout out to you, honey, for joining us. Share Banks as well, aka Banky Moon, aka Young. You don't use Young Mr. Turn Up no more. Why?
No, I'm the brand now. The brand has evolved.
Only you. Every year you're evolving.
The brand has evolved. Though. It's now Vibe King.
It's now Vibes King. No more Young Mr. Turn Up.
But now the money we find like this. Maybe vibe.
Correct guy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being part of this. It's been amazing. Hopefully we have a season 2 and we can have more conversations about radio. I love radio. I love the radio industry, and I think I'll always be there. But then we should have conversations to change the way the dynamics is.
Thank you. Yeah.
Peace.